Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, welcome back to the Accelerate stage. My name's Al Turner, and myself and my colleague Adam Parry, we're involved in pulling this content together with IBTM this year. So I hope you're having a really, really good show, and thanks so much for taking the time out to listen to these sessions. I just want to set a bit of context into what we're doing here, because what we're trying to do over the course of the show is sort of tell a bit of a story, which is around tech for good. So that's tech that's good for events, but it's also tech that's good for the world. So hopefully what you'll see is some of these themes emerging over the course of the show. Yesterday, we looked at now, all the things that are happening now in tech. Today, we're looking at near, so that's kind of things that are emerging at the moment, probably going to dominate us over the next year or so. And then tomorrow we go to next, where we're going to have some fun and look at what the future looks like a long time. So we're going to have lots of fun. So what I would advise is, by all means, do look at the sessions that were yesterday. They're being loaded up on demand on YouTube, so do have a look at them. That will set into context what we're doing as well. But also, if you can, come later on, come tomorrow, and get the full picture as well. So there's some really good stuff, and I hope you enjoy it. So as part of this, I'm really, really delighted to be inviting Pilar and Julia to the stage. They're going to take the conversation to a next pace, and if we can give them a warm ripple of applause to welcome them to Accelerate Stage. Thank you.
Yes, so welcome everyone to our session about smart events and how to achieve your business goals with inclusive and sustainable experiences. So just to give you a little bit of an overview, my name is um, Julia, Julia Ferrero. I'm the event marketing manager at Swapcard. So I organize all of the events of our company. And
My name is Bezar. Hi. I run our US sales teams, and in Europe responsible for some of our larger German clients. I've been in the event app space for the last 9 years, and have seen the transition from just moving away from paper into digital to really embedding technology into the event experiences and the communities that we're looking to build, and it's been really an exciting journey.
so let's get into it then. As we all know, for the past 2 years, we had to face so many challenges. And when it comes to start strategizing our events and plans for the next year, we know that we still have to take in consideration changes that are going to happen and challenges as well. Let's list the three of them that are the main ones. We're talking about inflation and energy costs. That for our event industry is going to mean that our events are going to be more expensive, while our teams are unfortunately getting smaller. The second one is the climate change. It's something that unfortunately we are starting to see the impacts. And as event organizers, we have to be more and more concrete about this problem. And the third point is restrictions and protocols. We are having, for safety reasons and for also the political situations we find ourselves, we need to be mindful and take in consideration these restrictions while we are organizing our events. To give you some data and some examples, even big corporates as Google is planning to reduce the travels for their employees because of sustainability, because they want to do something, an action, something concrete, but also because of costs. And another important number that we have to take in consideration is that the 73.3% of events are showing lower attendance to these events. So how can we do, how can we change that? So even if we are acknowledging there are a lot of changes and challenges, 2023 is still looking brilliant. There are a lot of opportunities that we can change, we can take from these challenges. So first of all, technology. Wow, for the last 2 years, we heard this word, but we have to continue and embrace this mindset and have this digital orientation in our events. The second point is sustainability. So as I was saying before, we have to take concrete actions. And the third point is diversity, equity, and inclusivity. So we have to make sure we, we are creating experiences that talk to more people and are inclusive. So again, to give you some numbers, the 78% of events are already using more technology than before COVID, which is really positive. And the second data is that 80% of organizations are thinking about sustainability and they are implementing these strategies in their next events and meetings. So when we talk about the future, the first word we have to take in consideration is that we have to be adaptable. Why? Because more than ever, we have to be ready to plan events according to our needs, according to our restrictions. So going virtual if it's needed, hybrid, in person, and also considering in the meantime that we have reduced budget, restriction, as always was saying before. And so like that's why adaptable. The second word is accountable. Talking about sustainability, um, this is a word that cannot be a buzzword anymore. We have to take actions. We have to make sure we are doing something for our events, be able to measure our actions as well and report them. Because in this way, we make sure we understand what's our impact in our events, and then we can implement in the next ones. And then we have to be inclusive. So most of the times in the past years, we're thinking about our attendees as a group, as a whole. We have to stop thinking about our attendees as a macro area, a macro group, but as the individual. We have to start thinking about their characteristics, their culture, what they are liking to do, their experiences, their work environment, and plan our events based on these data more than the group. So while we have to consider all those points that I shared with you, we also have to make sure that we are minimizing our risk, we are still having valuable events and prove our ROI. We have to deliver memorable experiences, of course, so it's not easy. This is why we have to be smart. And at SwapCard, this is what we are calling in the future events, smart events. So what are they? Smart events are events organized, taking in consideration technology first. So they are in-person experiences because everyone wants to be here, meeting each other. But how can we use here the technology to improve our experience? First, let's think about an app that allows you to know everything about the event, know everything about the sessions that are taking place, about the speakers, about the attendees, about the exhibitors, the partners, and be able to know everything before coming to the event and during the event. The second thing about how we can use technology is automation. This technology can help us reducing all these kind of activities that as organizer we have to repeat and redo every time, like setting up emails, notifications, the registration setup, all those things. Technology is here to help us. The third point is engagement. We all know that since we are back in person, we want to meet, but we want to meet the right people. That's why through technology, through AI, we are able to match you as a person with your interest with the right exhibitor, with the right sponsor, with the right person as well. And the fourth point that is super important as well, that we all know and we're all starting to talk about, is data. So data is key and it's really linked to technology. No, it's not just like a superficial data. It's really knowing what your attendees are liking, what your attendees are doing, and who they are visiting. I'm talking about rates. I'm talking about session views. All this data is allowing us to first prove that our event was a success, where we can improve, and then make changes for the next ones.
I think that's my cue. Before we go there, just a quick show of hands. We saw some data points, and I'd be very curious to ask the audience, when you're planning events, do you take the environmental impact into consideration as you're planning these events? Just a quick show of hands. Lovely, thank you. Who is leveraging technology to make sure they can increase reach, or through automation have a bigger impact for the events that they're running? Let's do it differently. Who is not using technology to deliver better experiences? No show of hands. Okay. Good. So smart events it's a large word, and it's an umbrella word for a lot of different things. But essentially, with smart events, running smart events, thinking from the ground up in environment, in sustainability, in travel restrictions, in economic impact, in reach, time reduction or saving of time on your side, but also on your attendee sides is a key aspect of that. Increased ROI is a big word, and we'll touch on that in a minute. But ROI, keep that in mind. Less resources to do more. A lot of people are reducing, teams are being smaller, expectations have increased, so doing more with less is a key important item. And I've run events when I was younger. It's a very stressful job, very, very stressful. Um, so reducing stress by automation, by planning, by building out processes is really key to help you just be sane. That's all I say there.
So when we are talking about smart events, how concretely we can have an impact on sustainability and inclusivity? First of all, as we all know, imagine for one event, we have to think about printing the tickets, printing a map, because we don't want attendees to walk around without knowing where they have to go. Printing maybe a book about all the sponsors, about the exhibitors, details, maybe have another paper dedicated to our agenda, a lot of things. Everything multiplied per attendee. So imagine here how much paper you will have. Technology is reducing that. Having an app with all this information in it is having a huge impact on paper and reduce the consume of paper. The second point is when you use an app, you have also the possibility to have all your sessions, this one, live on the platform as well. What does it mean? It means that if I have to go there on the other side of the world for an event and I don't have the budget, I can avoid to miss it. I can still attend. I can still be virtual. I will have the same possibilities as an on-site person. I will network. I will watch the sessions. I will see all the exhibitors. So this is gonna also be helpful for the attendees and gonna have an impact on the travel restrictions and reduction. Talking about event app again, we're talking about content. Imagine we are here, also people from the US, people from Asia, people from all over the world, if the session is online, can watch this. It means that your event is not just related to one city, not just to a country, can be a global audience. And that's a lot. We can reach a lot of people. And even if people are not in the same time zone, let's imagine, we can, since we have our content online, we can easily upload it on demand. We can repurpose this content. We can make this available after, meaning that an attendee that cannot make it and cannot arrive and be online at that time of the day, because maybe for them it's night, is still be able to come the day after, 1 month after, and watch your content. And the last point, which is really important, is accessibility. It's key for our events to be able to translate our content in as many languages as possible and have subtitles. Imagine here there is someone that is not fully fluent in English and would like to see the session in Spanish or in Italian. Well, this power of technology allows us to translate for the person and be close to her and talk to her language, and same for subtitles as well.
I think sometimes I need subtitles for when I speak because I lose track. May?
Yeah, sure.
So,
Go for it.
um, we all have a bottom line. And if we're not able to generate revenue for our organizations, we're not able to put on an event, we're not able to deliver and have an impact in whatever our personal or company goals are. As simple as that. So with that in mind, smart events really create and foster an environment where on the one side, you're reducing economic impact, inflation, travel restrictions, geopolitical challenges that we're all facing currently. On the other side, you're extending the event experience. We all walked in here on Tuesday morning. We'll leave tomorrow, and Should that be it? It's a wide question for the audience. Should that be it? Should that be the impact and the engagement and the connection that we have with IBTM, with this community, with the brands, with the sponsors, with the exhibitors, with this person sat next to you? I don't think so. I don't feel that that should be the case. But that is reality. So how can we extend the event life cycle? How can we create an environment where the online and the on-site live together and then merge back into a community? So that is really some of the challenges that we're spending a lot of time thinking about. ROI is really important. So gone are the dark ages where the only thing we knew is that somebody entered the venue. We don't know when they left because we don't track that. We don't know who they met because we're using business cards. We don't know what they valued because we have no idea. We don't know for the exhibitors how successful they were because they don't provide that information with us. The only thing they do is complain that it wasn't busy enough so they can get a discount on next year's numbers. We don't know the experience that we provided, only the negative and only the positive and nothing in between, because we have a 3%, 4% response rate to our questionnaires that we put out. So how can we move away from the dark ages and really understand our audience, but not only at the event, which is so important, not only at the event, but through the entire life cycle of our brand, of our engagement. So how can we extend beyond that point in time into a community? Yes. So taking your events to the next level is really easy said. Your organization might not be there. Your technology partner might not be there. Your comfort, your budgets, restrictions of your industry might not be there. Sure. But how can you enhance your brand experience? How can you have an impact? How can you make sure you have your lead generation in the same place as you have your attendee engagement, where you can look at an aggregate of all of the different data points that you have? You understand everything. You understand who came into the main door. You understand which exhibitor they connected with. You understand how they qualified the lead that they had. You understand that attendee, who else they connected with. You understand how long they spent on your platform. You understand which white paper they downloaded. You understand which exhibitor they looked at. You understand who they connected with, what question they asked, and what they said. And on top of all of this, one question. Who here is on social media? Hands. Who here spends too much time to their own feeling? Who's here spends too much time to their own liking on social media? The reason we do this, and I'm guilty of this because sometimes I see my reports on my device and I'm like, shame on you. But the reason we do this is not because we want to look at advertising. Is we want to look at user-generated content. Content that is relevant to you, content that was published by you, content that you commented on. And that is the reason we go back into our social media platforms, whether that's, I don't know if anybody here is young enough for TikTok, but whether that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you're on, right? Or that community that you're a part of on a Facebook group because you're there with like-minded people. So that is essentially what we need to develop, and that is essentially what we look at when we talk about smart events. It is no longer a separate webinar that you're running. It is no longer a workshop in a different environment. It's no longer a webinar that you're using a different platform for. It's no longer a lead scanning tool that is used by a different provider. It's no longer the event scanning tool or the engagement tool or the community tool or your content tool or your publication tool that are all scattered. How can you bring that experience all together and really create a community around your brands where you're relevant for your audience? I love this phrase, serendipity. We all know serendipity, serendipitous connections. But what I like even more is the following: assisted serendipity. How can you be relevant at the moment where it makes sense? It's 9 p.m., you're on the couch, you had a long day, kids started to bed, you just had dinner, you're angry, you're happy, you need to get some work done. And right there, you grab your phone, this trusted device that is always on and with you, you grab your phone, you jump into the community, and you download a white paper because you have a presentation the next day, or you need to connect with somebody because you want to know something. You met somebody, you saw me on stage today, right? And I talked about something that doesn't make sense to you right now, but it does 6 months from now. And you want to come back to that. Instead of going on YouTube, following the session, finding it, trying to allocate or relocate or whatever, you jump into the IBTM community, if they had one, where you look at the agenda or you look at the people that are there, you connect with that person. And because there's relevant content on there, that person is also there. And you see a green dot, means that they're online. And you send that message. So really building out that community and driving people to come back and be relevant outside of these days, where you're bringing your exhibitors, where you're bringing your attendees, where you're bringing that content that is not only pushed by you, but also created by the community, is really the experience that we're looking to provide. That's what we're helping our partners achieve. That's how we're impacting their business. That's how they're doing their future planning for 2025, 2030, is how do we double down on these communities? Because we all know communities and being relevant and providing relevance for your audience is key, but how do we do that? So if you'd like to know how, we're on the left here, and we'd happily walk you through that. At least our philosophy of it, how we think about it, and how we believe that we're building the platform for 2 years from now, and we're helping our clients go towards that. My name is Bezar.
Julia.
Julia from SwapGuard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Questions? We have time for them.
Yeah, you've got 10 minutes.
Questions? Come on, don't be shy.
Hi. So you talked about paperless events. Something that I'm quite interested in is eliminating badging.
Yeah.
But an event like this, where I'm hearing from exhibitors that badging is super important because you want to know who is coming into your stand, who you're talking to. What have you noticed in eliminating badging, like the feedback? How is it being received? How do you overcome some of that feedback that we really need badging?
Yeah.
I
For me?
can start and then we can continue. So it's true. Badges are really important, and it's a way of collecting each other contacts without staying there writing. But again, the question is how technology can help me, and technology can support that as well. In our mobile app, for example, we have a scanning tool. So our phone, like in the mobile app, you have the camera, and you have also the possibility to upload the badge in the app. So since everyone is using the app, you can use simply your phone to let's scan and change each other based on a QR code. So the future of badges is a QR code having on your phone in your mobile app, same place where you have all the other information about the event. So it's doable, and we're already experiencing it in other events, and it's just like getting used to it. It's educating our attendants, but it's doable.
Yeah. And to add to that, a week and a half ago, I was on stage with one of our clients who won a couple of awards. And they're building out multiple communities, but the awards were really around sustainability, how they've changed their entire food supply within their venues. And what she was saying, the CMO, is that it is unacceptable to her as a human being, but also as somebody that is spending so much money and so much effort and so much attention and focus of the organization in sustainability, in carbon footprint offset, green, etc. I'm not smart enough to understand what these things mean, but it's large. And she finds it unacceptable that on the other side of it, they're printing, 3 million badges a year. So for some of their events, they're starting to experiment. 2 months ago, I was at an event in Cologne where we're powering, and we had 95% adoption of the platform. Over 20, 30,000 people were there, which is incredible numbers and is really, really great. And it takes a lot of effort and thinking to do that. But they still had badges. So their next iteration for next year, the plan is delete badges. There's two things: environmental impact, but also on the other side, allowing people to have a conversation again. I'm in sales. The first thing I do is try to disqualify people. Do I want to spend my time with this person? Respectfully, we're all here in business. We know what this is. Sorry. Do I need to spend my time, or should I allocate my time somewhere else? But that conversation can still be very, very interesting to have. So it opens up a new avenue. So there's also opportunity there, business-wise as well as environment-wise. Baby steps.
Thank you.
Another question. Don't be shy now. Okay. Well, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. I'm here for the next hour. I'm flying out. The team is here today and tomorrow as well. If you have any questions, thoughts, would like to bounce off ideas and challenge what I said, by all means, please. I'm Dutch. I love arguing. Thank you.
Thank you.